We're always trying to figure out how we can feed everyone on this planet without, breaking it in the process. We need smarter, healthier ways to grow our food. And today, we're going to look at a really cool solution that comes from a place you probably wouldn't expect.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Everything we're talking about today comes from some amazing research by Ayşe Özkan and Halimi Unlu, which was just published in the Turkish Journal of Agriculture and Forestry. They've been looking into this incredible natural compound that could totally change the game for sustainable farming. So let's break down what they found.
So here's the big problem we're up against. The world's population, it's growing fast, and that means we need more food. For a long time, the answer was just to use more and more chemicals. But that approach is really starting to backfire. It's damaging our soil and just isn't sustainable. We've got to find a better way.
And that's exactly where the science is headed, which this quote from the study captures perfectly. The hunt is on for natural solutions to boost our crops. And believe me, this isn't just some passing fad. It's a huge shift in how we think about agriculture, getting away from those harsh chemicals and starting to work with nature instead. So, if we're ditching the synthetics, what's the alternative? Well, these researchers honed in on one really promising candidate, something called Chitosan. And honestly, it might just be the secret hero our salads have been waiting for.
So what is this stuff? Well, chitosan is totally natural, it's biodegradable, and it's completely non-toxic. I like to think of it as a personal trainer for plants. It doesn't just act like a fertilizer, it actually kicks the plant's own growth and defense systems into high gear, helping it get stronger and more productive all by itself. And this is the part I find fascinating, where it comes from. Chitosan is made from chitin, which is in the shells of shrimp and crabs and even in the cell walls of fungi. So we're basically taking what would be waste from the seafood industry and turning it into a super valuable tool for farmers. It's sustainability in action, right?
Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, but does it actually work in a real field? That's exactly what these researchers set out to discover in Isparta, Turkey. They designed an experiment to see if spraying a little chitosan on a field of rocket, arugula, could make a real measurable difference.
And the way they set it up was super clear and simple. They planted the rocket and then split it into a few groups. One group got nothing but water. That's your control group. The other groups got sprayed with different strengths of chitosan. Then, when it was time to harvest, they measured pretty much everything you could think of.
All right, this is the good part. After all that work, what did they actually find? Did this secret ingredient from the sea live up to the hype? Well, yeah, the results were pretty amazing.
Check this out. This is the big one. The plants that got a 75 parts per million dose of chitosan, they produced 13.2% more rocket than the plants that got no treatment at all. That's a huge bump in how much food you can grow on the exact same piece of land. And this chart just makes it crystal clear. You see the control group on the left pulling in just under 1,700 grams. But look at the group that got that little 75 ppm dose. It jumped to over 1,900 grams. A tiny bit of this natural spray resulted in a whole lot more food. But wait, it gets better. It wasn't just about growing more food. It was about growing better food. The rocket treated with that same dose had almost 10% lower nitrate levels. And that is a really big deal because high nitrates in our veggies can be a health concern. So Chitosan gave them more rocket that was also safer and healthier to eat. Now, science is never quite that simple, right? And this is where it gets really interesting. While that 75 ppm dose was the magic number for yield and lower nitrates, a much higher dose was actually better for boosting other good things, like phenolics. And get this, the control group, the one with no treatment, actually had the most vitamin C. It just goes to show you how complex this is and how farmers could one day tailor these treatments to get exactly the result they're looking for.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. What does one experiment with rocket in Turkey really mean for the rest of us? Well, it points to a future where we can grow our food in a way that's genuinely good for us and for the planet.
So, the bottom line is pretty clear. With something like chitosan, we get more food from the same amount of land. That food is better for us, safer to eat. We're doing it with an eco-friendly substance instead of harsh chemicals, and the plants themselves are just flat out healthier. It's a win, 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 win.
So really, the next time you see a shrimp, you might think about it a little differently. This research makes you wonder, could the secret to a more sustainable, more abundant food future really be hiding in their shells? It makes you think, what other secrets does nature have waiting for us to find?